Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the art studio. It is Monday morning, and it's time to talk about what's happening in that second week of December classes. So if your kiddo takes classes here in the studio, this is the video for you. It's where we're going to talk about all the things that are happening in our multimedia classes, our drawing classes, our art fundamentals classes for our preschoolers. At the back end of the video, we're going to go over some housekeeping stuff. So if you're catching the recording and you're following the timestamps, you can always watch just your kiddo's class, but then also make sure you go watch the housekeeping stuff as well, because it kind of usually pertains to everybody. It's stuff you need to know. Sound good? Should we dive right in? It is our second week of December for some of our kids. So this is one of those months that's really weird because the first was on a Thursday. So if your kid takes a Monday or a Tuesday class, you're probably thinking, what do you mean it's week 2 of December, Allison? My kid hasn't even had a December class. And that's because you still have to come this week for week 1. But the way the videos work, we're going to make sure that that we're giving our farthest ahead people the information they need. So if your child hasn't come to class yet in the month of December and you're wondering what they're going to do in week 1, then you got to go back and look at the week 1 video. This is for week 2, so my Thursday people that are starting. All the housekeeping stuff is still relevant though. All right, let's talk through multimedia. It is watercolor month in the studio, which is like my favorite. I'm a watercolorist, and so I kind of dig on this month. It's a different kind of paint, and it's got magic to it, but it also can be kind of frustrating. So we spend a lot of time in week 1. If you watched last week's video, we spent a lot of time just learning about the paints, figuring out what it does, why it's different. We learned how to load the brush. We learned how to lift off. We learned dropping in, all this fun stuff that only watercolors can do. We spent a lot of time playing last week. This week is the week where we start on those projects. So our K1 classes are doing a project called Totems, which is building these wet on wet and these bleeding shapes that stack on top of each other. It's an abstract form of art, and it's inspired by a contemporary artist by the name of Michelle Armas. So last week, we looked at some of that art, looked at her Instagram page, looked at her website, saw the type of art she made. She does a great job doing videos, so we were able to actually see her process that she uses. And then this week, we're going to start building those totems. So my K1s and my second thirds are going to start their actual project this week, building that stack of geometric or organic shapes. They'll try to get 2 totems painted this week, and then they'll work on the remaining ones the next week. My my 4th and 5th and my homeschool classes are painting flowers in a vase. And just to make, this is what this picture actually is from 2019. I think it's 2019. It might be 2018. It's kind of old, but this picture, that's how long it's been since we've done this project. But this one uses watercolors to paint our flowers, watercolors to paint our vase, and possibly for our background. It depends on the timing of your class. But the watercolors are used in all of those. But the thing that makes it different is we cut out everything and put it back together. That way, we don't have to worry about those background colors bleeding into our flowers or controlling those watercolors, because it's going to be cut out anyway. So they're going to start this week on actually painting their flowers. We have photo references of flowers for them to look at. They're not necessarily trying to paint the photo reference, not like we do in in drawing class, where we try to, render it as exact as possible. This is more just for inspiration. What shape are flowers? How do the petals form together? How do the colors bleed within a petal? So they'll use their watercolors to paint some flowers. And then next week, they will start putting all of their artwork together. Last week, they painted their vase, so that's already done. Hang on. I got to talk about one more. I almost forgot. My older kids, so my middle school, high school classes, 6th, 7th, 8th through 12th, those classes are doing a really fun exercise in negative space, and they're doing sea creatures. So it is a wet on wet watercolor background that they painted last week. This week, they'll start actually sketching out those sea creatures, and then they will paint their negative space with a washed out white acrylic so that watercolor really pops through, and they'll add their details with gel pen. This is a fun project for them because it uses some of the techniques that we actually used last month in our ink drawing class. So this week they're going to do their drawing part and start painting their negative space. Okay, on to drawing. My drawing kiddos last week, week 1, they did these reflective ornaments, and I didn't have any images, so I thought I'd show you the image this week. These are the types of like photographic references that they're using. And you see, when you first look at it, you're like, oh, it's an ornament. It's a red globe with an ornament. But when you really drill down to it, you start to see all the reflections that are actually in the ornament and how the light hits it, as well as the mirrored surface. So that's what they're working on last week, or if you're in a Monday, Tuesday class, you're working on this week. My week 2 drawing people, they are moving on to drawing from life. Remember, we always draw from photograph, we draw from life, and then we draw from imagination. So this is the photograph one. The drawing from life is a curled piece of ribbon, which is real tricky. They're going to do that in charcoal with blending sticks, or some of them will choose graphite just because the charcoal, for sensory issues, it's not their favorite. So we'll offer graphite for those kids that don't love the charcoal. Most of our kids love the charcoal. So they're going to work on, it's a black and white rendering of a 3D from life piece of ribbon that is curled. Very challenging. They got to get the contour down, and then they have to get all the values in the shading. So that's my drawing 101 and my drawing 2 advanced realistic are both doing that lesson. My comic and anime classes last week, they worked on hair in week 1. In week 2, we start with hands. And this could be an entire month lesson. Drawing hands is not easy. We have to get the scale right. Most people draw their hands way too small when it's actually about the size of my face. Most people draw the fingers way too short when it's actually half the half the hand, right? My palm is half and my fingers are half. So getting the perspective, getting the contour, and then that's just like this. Then we got to put them into different positions and we got to see them from different perspectives. And so they'll start working with hands. If they've had that lesson before, that's okay, because I mean, I could still do a lesson in hands and find value in it. All of us could. Hands are one of those things we can draw forever and ever and ever, and we'll never master it. We'll just get better. So they got a hands lesson in comic and anime class. Next week, we'll move on to feet. For my preschool classes, last week was the mitten. This week, they are reading Mistletoe, which is kind of a funny holiday book about decorating a tree, which is actually Dad Moose. So they'll read that book. We're doing all of our fun holiday things. They'll start working on step-by-step drawings, which is for a lot of these kids a new way of thinking, being able to combine shapes to make a more complex shape. Also, it's a way of ordering or breaking down a more complex thing. So it's really interesting. Some of them are ready for it, some of them aren't. That's okay. We're just introducing it. So they'll do some step-by-step drawing this week. They also do all the wonderful stations that are in the preschool room. This one, here it is. This one is always a popular one. This is our Play-Doh cookie making station. So we have white, glittery, sugar cookie smelling Play-Doh, as well as our pretend oven, our cookie sheets, and our rolling pins and cookie cutters, and glitter, always glitter. So super fun stuff going on in the preschool room. They'll have their second class this week, and then we're going to look at the calendar, but their third class is coming up. And that one is, we read The Snowy Day and we make snow paint. Maybe I'll show you that recipe in our video next week for those of you who want to do it at home. But first, we need to talk about the December schedule. So before we get to all the housekeeping stuff, this is what everybody wants to know. And I have graphics for you. Are you ready? Here's, let me scoot this way. Here is the December calendar. So here we are over here on the 5th. I like my calendar to start on a Monday. I don't like the Sunday to be in the far column. I like it over here. So this is Monday right here. This is where we're at. And then these are the days that our studio is closed. So we are closed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we have 5 days where, aside from coming into the building and making sure that, we don't have like a pipe burst or anything, we're gonna check on the building. But other than that, we're pretty much closed. I will probably still check messages Thursday, Friday, and I will work Monday because we have stuff going on Tuesday. So I just want to make sure I'm here for that. Limited hours, though. I won't be here as long as I usually am on Mondays. So these are when we do not have classes. Now, for my preschoolers, you only meet 3 times a month. So you're not really affected by the holidays. We're really lucky. We're able to get all of our classes in before Christmas. This is the universal symbol for art classes. This is my little paint palette graphic. So you can see my Thursday classes met on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th. My Friday classes meet on the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th. My Monday classes, whoops, I didn't put a graphic there. My Monday classes meet on the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. My Tuesday classes, the 6th, the 13th, and the 20th. All right, so you can see we've got 3 classes in before Christmas, and then we're good to go. All right, there will not be preschool makeups on the 26th. So if you miss a class this month and you want to do makeups, Flatwoods will not have class makeups on the 27th either. So we do ours on Mondays, they do theirs on Tuesdays. If you miss a class this month and you need to make it up, we'll get you in January, okay? Just because this week right here, this week between Christmas and New Year's, we are running regular older kids classes, and we're also running camps. And we're still teaching online, so it's a lot. So we can't do too much in the day because there's not enough of us. So we'll get if you miss a class this month, we'll make you up in January. All right, let's talk about our multimedia and our drawing kits. So you guys meet 4 times a month, which means, like holidays mess it up. So let's take a look. Thursday's classes meet on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 29th. You do not meet on the 22nd. We're going to be closed that night. You meet on Monday, or let's do Tuesdays next. Tuesday classes meet on the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th. You're not really affected either. Like you just come on a Tuesday, whenever your class is. Monday, you guys are the ones that are weird. So you're the 1st, the 2nd, or the 1st, the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. And then because Miss Elsa doesn't want to do anything on the 26th, you're reading on the 28th. So we just go ahead and just pop you over to Wednesday. There will be no makeups on this Wednesday because we have regular classes. Sound good? Awesome. All right, let's, this run right here, the 27th, 28th, 29th is going to be the PJ nights, and we're going to talk about that in housekeeping. If you have questions about your calendar, let me know, okay? Housekeeping information. Number 1, make sure you sign up for the next semester. Some of you are still asking me if you have to sign up. The answer is yes. Everybody has to sign up. The auto enrollments, they go by semester. So when you enrolled back in August, you were auto enrolled through the semester, which ends in December. So you're not auto enrolled for the next semester. That one you have to manually do, so it restarts the billing if you're a monthly person, okay? If you're a semester person, you definitely have to re-enroll. So definitely make sure you sign up for your classes. They are live on the website, so you can find those. The ads for classes, like the social media ads, they go live midweek this week. So I anticipate every class will be full by middle of next week. Make sure that you get signed up if that's something you're planning on doing. If for some reason you're not coming, well, it doesn't really matter. If for any reason you're not coming back next semester, get with us, or just remember to get your journal at your last class. So just ask for it, because everybody says a journal in the studio, my drawing kids especially, because that's where they work in it. We want to make sure that you get those. And we'll usually hold them until the end of the year. And then I put them in storage, and because I can't throw them away. So, but yeah, get those from us. Okay. Number 2 in housekeeping is that December 27th through 29th is our art and PJ nights. So for my drawing people and my multimedia people who have regular classes that week between Christmas and New Year's, our December project should be mostly done by then. And we all wear our PJs to the studio. The Orange Easel staff has matching PJs, and we drink hot chocolate and make fun, like we just explore stations. We set up all sorts of fun things and just play. We try to keep everything very washable that night because most people are wearing their brand new Christmas PJs, and we don't want anybody to get them messy. So we keep the washable stuff out that night. No acrylic paints or anything. And then the last thing that I'll mention in housekeeping is we do have junior staff application open right now. So that opened December 1st. It'll go until December 15th. If you have a teenager or preteen who has finished 5th grade, who is interested in assisting in the studio, we would love to have them help with some of our younger classes. So these kids, they help with the younger classes. Sometimes they're paired up with a student just to model behavior. Sometimes they are used as like a gopher and a runner. which is why we insist that they be Orange Easel students, because then we can say, can you get the Sharpies out of the closet? And they know where it is, or at least they know where the closet is. We use them as like helpers to prep things too. So when the preschool classes need snowballs cut out, then our teens will help us do that in the evenings. And so there are some hours at both studios that we would love to have some helpers. This is a great way to get volunteer hours. It's a great first job experience. You fill out an application, you go through an interview process, you are offered the job, you have to accept the job, and then we just kind of go from there. So, and if you're interested in doing it in the summertime, that application process opens in, I want to say late March. It might be early April, but it's on the website. So check it out. It's under orangeeaselart.com/junior staff. You can find it. The link is linked on Facebook for a post last week. And then if you can't find it, you can try the search bar on the website, or you can just message me. All right, I think that's it for all of my housekeeping notes. I hope you guys have a wonderful second week of December, and I will. All right, I think that's see it you guys for all soon. Of my housekeeping notes. I hope you guys have a wonderful second week of December.